This year is a great year to travel. However, the last place you probably want to journey to would be into hell, or the underworld. We are all fascinated by the myths and legends of these gates or portals that are found in our world that go into hell. So let's dive down and explore these mysterious reported gates of hell. Welcome to Edge of Wonder. I'm your host, Ben Chasteen, and joining me is Rob Counts.
Hey, everybody. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a creative director, graphic designer by trade. And a couple of years back, when James Cameron dove deep into the Mariana Trench, into the deepest part of the ocean, I had to do an infographic on this, right? And as I was researching it, I came across this other infographic where at the very bottom of the Marianas Trench, there was this little door that he drew in there. It was the real reason James Cameron went down there, was to open this gate to hell. And I was like, what the heck? Like, that's just so weird. I realized that there were a bunch of instances all over the world of these reported historical gates to hell. The first one that I found was actually in Paris, in the Catacombs. So the Catacombs are basically this 200-mile long tunnel system. In the 1700s, so many bodies started to accumulate in the cemeteries that they started pouring out into the streets, and there was this like foul stench of like rotting human flesh in the air. So if you can go and you can take a tour in France. They pattern the entire walls of the tunnel, right?
They've now broken up, so it's like one whole area is all skulls, right?
Exactly.
Those like femurs.
Yeah. It's weird, but it's bizarrely like beautiful in a really kind of bizarre way, of course, because when you realize they're like human remains, the Catacombs comes up on lists across the world all the time as one of the most haunted places in the world.
Well,
right?
I definitely wouldn't want to go there alone, that's for sure.
Yeah, all those human remains. Well, the funny thing is, so the people that venture into the Catacombs all the time, they call them cataphiles. They're like obsessed with this place. Yeah. Kids go down there to party and all of that stuff. What makes it interesting is that several years back, a video was found of a guy going through the catacombs, and he basically starts breathing heavier and heavier, and then all of a sudden just drops his camera in a pool of water and is running kind of very frantically down the hall. And so people are getting lost in these catacombs, and they say that people are getting dragged away by something or someone. One of the videos contains this really weird area where a guy is going down and there's this creepy white figure painted on the wall. It's just really weird. One of these like halls, I guess, deep in there is said to contain a gate to hell. Okay, well, what's next? You found another one?
Yes. So number 2 on our list is Tunnels of Baiae. This is the story of this prophetic Cumaean Sibyl who was fooled by Apollo. So she lives in these caves, the caldera, which is near the volcano.
So Vesuvius, right?
Yeah, and the tunnels under the Phlegraean fields, they're supposedly like a gate into the underworld.
Really?
Yeah. The elaborate, carefully made tunnels lead into a stream of near boiling waters and this like sulfur type smell. And the crazy thing is, this kind of matches the story of Styx.
The river Styx.
So in the 1950s, they actually went into these tunnels, and when they got down, they found this like platform area where a boat could actually pull up. It's very similar to what is described in the river Styx.
And the river Styx being found in there, like, could that be the river Styx? I mean, that's where people were carried over into the underworld, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 on our list, it's called the Skinwalker Ranch. So this area is located in northeastern Utah. All of the different kinds of paranormal activity all exist in this one place. So you have people seeing ghosts and weird orb-like things, UFOs. I think there was like thousands of UFO sightings in this area.
Wow.
There's these things called skinwalkers, and that's why they call it the Skinwalker Ranch. And it's these creatures that reportedly can change from humanoid into cats or any kind of animal. This is one of the only legitimate video of something turning into something else. The only thing that makes me doubt this video is that when the camera starts shaking a little bit, the guy moves the camera, that's when you see the change. So like, it could have been done with 3D graphics or something.
Really interesting thing is the guy who owns it. So it's Robert Bigelow Ranch.
Yeah, he bought it from this family called the Shermans. So actually the ranch was called Sherman's Ranch. Everyone refers to it as Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, the really fascinating thing about Robert Bigelow, he says that he wants to use it for like paranormal research and whatnot. So he hires like a whole entire research staff, like he hires like ex-military people people even to come
Whoa.
in. To like guard the area. You know?
And it's gated
so
and stuff,
it's all
right?
gated. Like, you literally can't go there.
Some of the experts, they think that this area is actually like a portal to other dimensions because of all the crazy stuff going on here, right? Okay, so number 4 on our list, it's Houska Castle. So this one to me is like the most legitimate one on the list. And it's in the Czech Republic, and it's kind of on a hill in the middle of nowhere. During Ottokar II of Bohemia's reign in the 1200s, there was a hole on this hill. It's so deep that no one could see it to the bottom. They reportedly saw humanoid creatures crawling out of this thing and the occasional like black winged demon just flying into it. And so the king at the time was like, yo, we have to like fill this, right? So he decided that they would build a structure over the hole with like really thick stone to block the whole thing, right? They started construction on this castle. The castle has no water, no kitchen, no fortification, so it wasn't used for battle, right? Why would they build like a castle on here with none of those things, right? So, and at the time of its completion, it was unoccupied. No one lived in the castle at the time of its completion. They literally just built this castle as like a cork for this hole. During construction, as the story goes, they find a bunch of guys who have life sentences. They bring them to the construction site, and they say to one of the guys, listen, we'll reduce, your term in prison, or we'll let you free or whatever, if you let us drop you into the hole and you tell us what you see. They tie a rope around the guy and they start lowering him in, and then all of a sudden they just hear blood-curdling screams coming down in the hole. And so they pull him up really quick, and they look at the guy, and he has white hair and he looks like he aged 30 years. If there was like a different kind of time space and wherever they lowered him down, like that could explain the aging, but imagine being down for like 30 years staring at hell and screaming and then someone pulling you back up. I mean, of course, these are all just like assumptions I'm making. The story is incredible, right?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And you can go to Houska Castle now and check it all out.
Dude, that's another place I would love to go.
I know, right?
Because they have like tours, right?
Yeah.
Coming into number 5 is St. Patrick's Purgatory. The story of St. Patrick's Purgatory is an ancient pilgrimage site, which dates back to the 5th century AD. So it's on Station Island in Lough Derg in Ireland. St. Patrick was having a hard time converting people to Christianity. They were pagans, and they were like, well, yeah, we need more proof. And one day he prayed to God and was asking God, like, how can I help convert them? Please show me. Well, he had a vision that God came to him and showed him exactly where this pit was in the ground. So he went to the pit, which then he called Purgatory, because then he realized it was like this entrance through purgatory that would eventually like lead to hell, right? Because there was like all kinds of demons and fire and all kinds of things going on. Soon enough, like a bunch of people just started coming because everyone started hearing about this place. So the whole area just converted into Christianity. There's actually a story named Knight Owen. He entered the caves. When he first was approaching the cave, a couple monks showed up and basically told him that when he's having trouble to call out Christ's name, he immediately goes into this cave, and the first thing he sees is like these demons coming over, like rushing and trying to like grab him in.
Jeez.
So he calls out Christ's name. He keeps venturing down this thing further, and then he sees all the souls being persecuted or in the purgatory, being tortured by these demons and all kinds of crazy things. Then he goes to this fiery lake, and there's this really thin bridge that he has to like walk across. I mean, that's like the actual pit of hell at that point in time. It's like too narrow, so once again he calls out Christ's name, and the bridge widens. And as soon as he gets on the other side, it's like totally different. It's like almost like his paradise. These two priests come up to him, and they tell him that this is the place of souls who rest after they went through the purgatory. And it's basically where they go before they go into heaven. Right?
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so then he's taken to this highest point of the mountains, and he sees the actual gates of heaven. And then like he comes back and everything fades away, and then this is all like written in books.
What's it like? Can you go there now? Like
15,000 people a year that go there. They actually have to go on this pilgrimage. So for 3 days you have to fast. You're only given like some little bread and some cakes and whatnot. You can't wear any shoes. You go there and people like pray basically for these 3 days. I mean, it's completely sealed off now. You can't go into
So
the
they
cave.
locked it all up?
Yeah. It's just kind of like this holy site now that's turned into this holy site. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot more that have been mentioned. I would say these that we found are more like the interesting stories. There's a few others of like volcanoes, for example, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people say a lot of crazy things happen around volcanoes.
So that, I think
Fire
that was the
now.
weirdest thing about this, right? Is that most of the reported gates to hell were either near volcanoes
Right.
or like bodies of water, like rivers or something, and then they all smell like sulfur.
Yeah, a
Like,
lot
what's
of
up?
them smell like sulfur.
Isn't that weird?
It's
Like,
crazy.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think in the comments. I mean, and if there's any of these that you want us to dive into more and explore more, feel free to let us know. And also, guys, if you have any stories or experiences you would like to share with us, just let us know in the comments. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more awesome videos on unexplained mysteries, life, and our wondrous universe. Until then, we'll see you out on the edge.
But not too close to any gates to hell.